Welcome back, everybody, to the G2 Esports Get the Cash Cup. I'm Taylor Reflections, double joined by Jacob MVPR, and Game 3 has finished. Of course, we have 3 more games. We've just reached a halfway point, but already starting to see a solidified first place, if I had to say so myself. And it wouldn't surprise me if that leaderboard, when it shows up, if we see them take a pretty commanding lead, Jacob.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to, I think, the eliminations at this point. But I do got to give a round of applause. Janice, again, obviously one of the more skilled players in all of Europe, taking the high ground and taking the role to go ahead and force everybody down from their team. You saw Chapix, you saw Hen kind of popping those shots. They were the ones who kind of dropped down low. But like I said, in the end, Janice was the one making sure they were safe, making sure that they could do exactly anything that they wanted and hold that high ground. But unfortunately, like I said, you got to give it up to Wakey and his trio in the end. A few games earlier, they're barely scraping by, trying to get those placement points. A few games later, game number 3, they come out on top. It's progression at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. And progression is what we want to see. We want to see, you know, consistently striving to be the best. Let's take one quick look at our leaderboard if we do have it. If not, fair enough. But I know we got to see a solidified first place. And yeah, Hens, Janice, Chapix, it's going to be hard to dethrone them now. Wow. It's possible, though. Don't get me wrong. It is possible. 135 points. They take a very, very decent lead. So we'll see if anybody's going to be able to surpass them. Talk to me about the rest of them.
I mean, our top 3 teams, Wakey, Noah Riley, they both got some victories as well. But you got to look at that third place team, Scram, Kiku, and Patrick. They were able to really just battle back. You saw Scram in some of those tight spots, barely able to stay alive. But I'm going to be saying these guys every time that I see them. Sitting at number 6, Jetsku, Andone, and Orb figure out a way to make late game again. They have been more consistent than some of the biggest names in Europe so far, and they're doing it through that qualification.
Absolutely. And again, I would love to see a qualifier team make it to the top. I really would. I mean, it would be a beautiful thing. And even a top 5, I would not be against that whatsoever. Take a look at our top 16. Where's Saevid? Is Saevid on this list? There he is, number 12. Okay, everybody, really moving on up. And that's the thing, consistently moving on up. That is the key thing. Granted, 59 points, not far away from top 8, Jacob, given the fact that 64 points is where number 8 is at. But I guess the big thing is you want to be top 3 because that's where the money's at.
That's where all the money is at. That's what they're playing for, all the marbles. But I will say those 2 and 3 spots right now, they're not going to get as much of that prize pool as the first place team. But we talked about the Victory Royale bonus, which is up for grabs for any of these teams that could get themselves a victory. But you can kind of see the 2 pages of the leaderboard. We know only top 3 is going to get paid. So a lot of these teams are going to have some big games. And I say some because it's going to take more than one. You already saw that trio in first place, Janice, Chapix, and Hen have multiple big games to sit with their and the commanding lead. So some of these teams that might not be in page number 1, you guys are going to have to adapt your gameplay, figure out a way to get that early eliminations, and go through to the placement as well. Because if you don't get those eliminations, and we always talk about you want to survive to the end, but if you don't get those eliminations and your opponents stay alive and continue to build on that lead, that's going to make your 5th and 6th games that much harder.
And just to comment one more time on the number 1 team, you know, Hens, Janice, Chapix, if they do take another victory or even second place, I quite honestly don't see anybody catching them. I really don't, especially with only 2 more games left. They already have about a 35-point lead. But the way they've been playing, it's they've kind of been unstoppable. Over here at Craggy, and they're going to be uncontested. It makes sense since they've been dominating so much. You really don't want to fight this trio off the rip. But one thing that I do want to comment on, Jacob, maybe you can comment on as well. Again, I've been kind of not frustrated per se, but confused as to why we're seeing so many challenges in Storm. We saw that one earlier over at Dirty Docks. We've kind of seen one, I believe, I think Dirty Docks kind of been the main defender. Slurpee, excuse me, has also been yet another one. We see some late challenges, but I just don't think that's the best play. I mean, yeah, you do win. We're going to have 2 trios here once again, so we might see that same situation.
Hold on. He just fell to, I hope he got eliminated because he just fell to his death.
Who?
In game number 4, I didn't really see the name. I just saw somebody could just get dropped down from the sky. I gotta believe it was maybe Thomas's teammate. It's not a Nas, so depending on who that last player is. but they probably got eliminated. This is where you have to be careful. If you don't know if it's contested or not, he could have tried to go over on that side of the map, collect some loot, but this full trio landed together, even with a pistol and 2 snipers. That is definitely going to do a lot of damage if you find yourself split, if you find yourself all by yourself. But I'm looking at the kill feed, some big eliminations already being picked up, and this is one of those fights. It's coming down to a 2v2 scenario. Both of these trios have lost 1 player.
Already 1 player down. Obviously, you want everybody that you possibly can to battle, but you don't have that luxury, at least in this moment. For me, what is going to be the game plan? Well, I guess we'll take a half pot. Misty Meadows. It's the first time I think we've seen Misty Meadows off the rip, at least in grand finals, if I'm not mistaken. We kind of been focusing on the outer POIs, such as Dirty Docks, Slurpee, you know, and for good reason, because that's where a lot of the early engagements are taking place. Of course, Corny too, Steamy. Now, this is the first, now, actually not the first time, but let me let this play out. So MrSavage and Dread and Repscar do get finished off. How many games have we watched them try and disengage from this location, disengage from this fight, which is, in my opinion, very uncharacteristic. Malibuca and Co are, in fact, our qualifier team, and they have been running through MrSavage pretty much every single time off of Steamy stacks. So I hate to say this, and this is pretty uncharacteristic, but I think MrSavage and that trio kind of needs to find a different location, because it has just not been working for them at all.
Definitely has not. Already you see some trios switch up their landing spots as the games go by, realizing that fight, that contested fight, may not be worth it. Even though I'm confident in myself to go ahead and win that fight, but this is where Mergent is going to go ahead and have to push in. He doesn't have a shotgun, so that CQC is going to be much harder for him. Finally getting rewarded that rare pump shotgun. He's going to try to take the high ground, mini back up, reunite with his team. But this is one of those fights that we talked about with, I do believe, Bad Sniper not too far with Vortex. So once both of these teams finish this fight, we can see them fighting off against each other.
Oh, Lenoof gets into the box. Nice
Oh,
tag.
no.
Is that going to be a drop? I don't think so. Maybe even a blank tag. I don't know if I didn't see any damage, but finally one will fall, and that's going to be Esty. Did Esty's entire trio get eliminated? I think they just did. Wow. That is a massive powerhouse team to be eliminated this early on over at Corny Complex. And like I said, we've been really focusing hard on Dirty Docks, Slurpee Swamps, and Corny Complex because of how many early engagements we see. And Vortex is one of them who died off early on. They were eliminated in Game 3, Jacob, off the rip. And they are a full trio, at least at this point, but they have the chance to be eliminated once again by Slicks & Co., which obviously would be devastating.
Yeah, I love their confidence. I'll give them that. As I do believe one of these players tried to pop one of those peppers and trying to get that wide angle towards the outside. Is they're still trying to play aggressive. This could be great AR tags. Pops them a few times. It does look like they're going to try to get aggressive. We know from opens, from semis, they're one of the most dominant aggressive teams that we've seen so far up until this point. Slicks is being chopped down little by little. They are each full health, narrowing down their opposition and funneling them into the same box. And it looks like they're going to try to take this piece control little by little. They have to be careful, though, because there's a couple of players towards the outside of this one that are seemingly taking sniper shots to steal away from some of these eliminations.
We haven't talked much about OVA, but at least for this trio, I would have to say Vortex and OVA are definitely the most, or the 2 dominant slayers for this roster overall.
More players rotating in.
Like you said, more players, and that's just going to be a reoccurring theme, especially with Corny Complex being inside that zone. You want to establish yourself early on if you potentially can. So much has been committed for this fight. Now, granted, King can still commit a little bit more given the fact that he has 60 more, 60 builds in total, but see how this is going to work out now. Big tag, but should still be fine overall.
Yeah, you can see the effects of that leaderboard really playing a role here. Vortex takes a big tag, down to 2 HP, down to none. He gets knocked. OVA, only 27. He's going to try to pop his minis, try to pop the big pot as well. He's realizing this is another team rotating in, affecting this fight. Hi, Chris. He's down to only 30 HP. He's trying to figure out a way out. He's being chased by both of these teams. Brunef is down there as well. 8 and 7 goes down. It's like the 2007 Royal Rumble. Everybody going over the top rope. Very few teams are going to be able to survive this if they do not take this fight quick. Multiple players from this trio have already been taken out, have already been knocked down. The revive is looking like it's going to come through from 8 and 7 as Matzo is doing a good job of distracting the opposition as he has to reset that revive to keep control of the build.
Yeah, Yeah, this is going to work out now. It's going to be a tough spot for Pinkik to be in. Still, though, we down to the bottom screen. Chris fighting it out. Knight's already been eliminated, unfortunately. Vortex as well. So Chris is literally by himself in this moment, Jacob. And again, one of the qualifying teams, you hate to see them get eliminated so early on. No eliminations, no points, only 3 more rounds remain. And I feel bad for this guy, thinking he's going to be just pretty much isolated, being focused overall. And Matso's alive, and Matso's going to be there for the, at least for the help, maintaining that wall if he can. But I'm trying to disengage. Corny Conflict just isn't it. But can you even get away at this moment?
So many teams are rotating him. That's going to become the new edge of zone. As you see, it's pushing everybody forward. And I don't know how long TQ has been there, but they've been there for a while towards the outside, just watching this fight. Finally, they're going to go ahead and rotate off, realizing it's too dangerous. The risk is not worth the reward at this point into the game, as Stompy, Fastroki, and Waz is going ahead and rotating in, but just long enough to realize it's not a fight they want to take either. Everybody realizes the importance of this game. Is game number 4. You go out too early in this one, you can kiss that money goodbye.
And I believe we did lose Knight, Chris, as well as Vortex. Am I correct? That trio, the second time in a row off the rip, have been eliminated. Highly unfortunate. Look at this, though. A lot of talented trios in this one area. Saevid, obviously, up top. You've got Sir, excuse me, who's going to be running away. Vedio is going to be trying to get away himself, and they're going to afford to. No one's going to be able to gun them down for the time being. So well done. Okay. Creating that space, and that's what we need to see.
Oh, this is Mongraal versus Metro's team. This is Saevid. Crowd favorite versus probably another crowd favorite. 100 tag, and another player is down. That's going to be CRR, Mongraal, Saevid. They could finish this fight. As you see, they're taking a high ground. 112. They tag them, and they continue the aggression. They want to try to reunite as a team, as the shakedown is going to come through. Metro is doing what he can to get the revive, but I talked about the shakedown. They know exactly where they're at, and they know exactly where we're going to send them back to the lobby.
Back to the lobby they go, and not a bad performance. 6 total points with the 3 eliminations they're going to get, and they will survive for a later time. Plus, they get a really big refresh on literally everything. They're going to have a good time at least rotating in, but I guess not so soon, right? They still have one more team that they have to deal with, and unfortunately, it's going to be Benjyfish. It's going to be Joe, and this is not going to be easy.
No, big name after big name here. All fighting, and they're going to be eliminating each other. So we talked about some of these qualifier teams, some of these more unknown players. They have an opportunity to jump to the top of the leaderboard here in a few short moments. Obviously, Janice, Wakey, they're sitting at the top as well, playing it safe, but not a part of this fight is Benjyfish, taken piece by piece under his control. Big 90 shot. He's going to have to slow down just for a few moments to get his shield right back up, but overall, this fight is not going to end until one team is in the ground.
When you put it that way, Jacob, it's pretty intimidating, but that's the truth, right? I mean, they're not going to back off this, and quite honestly, too much has already been committed to back off. It just wouldn't make sense unless they're so far away from zone, but they're not. They're all relatively close. Does Benjyfish try to get away here? Oh, they are. They're dipping. They're gone. They don't want to fight this.
Hey, you can't disagree with that, especially where the zone is at. They realized when they started to go ahead and engage that team, it was as a third party. But Metro, Wolfie, CRR do get taken down. No longer a third party attempt. They don't want to risk their lives, their tournament lives, knowing they have some coming back to do in the standings if they want to reach the top of the leaderboards and take a piece of that money. And this is the team with the commanding lead after 3 games, almost going back-to-back in games number 2 and 3. Chappix, Janice, and Hen sitting, I want to think at the middle of the zone, but it's too hard to tell at this point. But they're going to go ahead and claim as much of this territory as possible. They're going to get the piece control around the building. That way, anybody engaged, they can fall within 3 layers of controlled pieces.
Ooh, sniper shot whizzing by. As soon as they destroyed that wall, already someone was ready to try and take them down if they could. 70 players still remain, which is a little bit lighter than what we've seen in the past. They have an upgrade bench if they decide to use that. You know, as long as they have enough gold, obviously, but I'm not going to see too much of that. The fact that they got this nice fortress is great, but I would hate for a firefly jar to be thrown at them at that point, because it's all built out of wood.
And almost like a don't throw stones in a glass house. Don't throw fireflies in a wood house.
In a wood house.
Oh, Thomas. I don't know if they're still in Dirty Dogs. They're probably forced out of it, but Thomas was able to get a knock onto one of those players. And in the kill feed, Letshe as well is popping off, getting downs and getting eliminations for his squad. He do have some coming back to it. He's by himself as a solo. There goes another cleanup. That was one of 2 downs that he was able to clean up, possibly the second one as well, depending, as both of his teammates are relying on him to keep their tournament hopes in this one. This is game number 4. He's doing everything he can. Zone moving in as well. Gets the piece control, quickly tries to make some moves, but he's backed up once more. These players have to figure out a way to get outside of the zone. Revive coming through. I'm not sure if he has enough time to make it a possibility. Chug Cannon, though, is going to save Letshe's life.
Oh, luckily so, but for how long? I mean, really, for how long? That's the question, and I don't know how long it's going to be as I mean, it's so frustrating to be gatekeeped as they are, but I mean, it's the reality of the situation they're currently in. Luckily, the Chug Cannon is there, but are you even going to be able to get the revive with your walls being spammed? You can't. There's no way. This is an impossible situation. You just got to back off.
Going for it again. As the splash. I
this
just don't think the splashes
situation.
are enough. He has to worry about
this is
himself here at this point, and this is the qualifier team coming in to be a third party. Jojo's down there. He was the one trying to gatekeep Letshe out and in the zone, and now it's going to cost them in the end. They're going to try to look to clean up these points, clean up the eliminations, and set themselves one step higher. They're sitting in 6th place to start this one off.
I mean, I like the idea, though, from Jetsku. This is pure aggression. I mean, you want to gatekeep as much as you can, but as soon as he... oh my, does he know that player's just on the other? He doesn't. Oh, this is, oh my gosh. As soon as he drops down or breaks through, you have to assume they're there. Yeah, there's going to be the tag, and they pick him up. Well done. And we will lose Juju in that moment. Now, so another risky revive, in my opinion. It's ticking by 2. You got the floppers and the Chug Cannon. You'll get out of there, but surely Jetsku is going to be able to hear this and double back and maybe even gatekeep them some more. We'll definitely find out, but there's going to be the launch pad pushing forward. Meanwhile, on the other side, by the way, Mexi's been finished off. Kylix too. Michael's out of the way. Matzo will get him down to 61. And look, get kitted up as much as you want, but you got a lot of ground to cover. This isn't the play.
Yeah, you definitely do got a lot of ground to cover. I think the only thing kind of being the silver line is maybe they can go towards the left, take that little bit of a fire, launch themselves off. But with that team in front of them, they heard the reboot. They have to know these there. They're going to be very cognizant of and looking to maybe pick up those elimination points if they do overstep their boundaries. But holding the high ground, Mongraal, Saevid, and Rafia. And this is going to be big for them. We talked about them inching themselves slowly but surely up the leaderboard. A big game number 4, a possible victory as well, can take them from the bottom, I think, 10 up into the top page of these competitors. And then you take that one step further. If they can repeat it in games number 5 and number 6, it didn't matter how bad their first game was, they have climbed back into contention.
Saevid, obviously the crowd favorite still. Those 2 eliminations from that earlier fight, we kind of had a chance to cast over Jacob. Just 5 seconds before that zone finally collapses in. Curious to see where the next one is going to be. And Noah Riley on your screen, obviously with the full force of his team, might be an opportunity to rotate in. They're going to have to rotate in, yeah, just a little bit further back than they probably are comfortable with, but I don't know. I do believe in this squad. You know, Noah Riley and actually, let me check the leaderboard and see where they were currently at. I don't think they're going to be up there yet. No, excuse me, 3rd place.
The 3rd?
They're in
Okay,
3rd
I was going to say,
place.
at one point
Yeah.
or another, I think they did drop down towards 4th place. Big game number 1. And that's why it's very important to start this tournament off hot, because anything can happen throughout the course of those 6 games. As they're Benji, they have to move in towards zone. I think they're going to be the farthest team away from it, so they got some traveling to do. But if you look at the mini-map, not too many teams know they're there. They got to be pushed forward and thinking about their rotation themselves. Got Wakey at the high ground. Multiple teams here sitting strong towards the high ground. Mongraal is going to be one of them, but they too have to rotate off just a little bit. So I got to ask you, when you're rotating like this, Reflections, what are some of the things you're looking for to not get tagged?
To not get tagged? I mean, I think the guarantee that you're not getting tagged is just going to, you know, obviously place walls as they were just doing the rotate in. I mean, if you can get a free rotate while taking a little bit of damage, no worries. I mean, there's a lot of open ground, especially for the southern teams. There are going to be 2 trails, as you can notice, those blue arrows towards the bottom. They can rotate in without building really as much, maybe a couple here and there. and even a couple who are going to be straggling in, specifically, Letshe and Go, who were over in, they were in Lazy, and they took all that damage trying to be the hero, keep the rescue and the revive. But if I'm rotating in, man, I'm trying to use as little builds as possible while also trying to save my launch pad or recycle launch pads that are down. That would be the game plan, because obviously launch pads are incredible for late game, especially for taking high ground if you have the full confidence. We'll see what's going to be up to. Again, right now it's just all about positioning. If you pick up an elimination here, great, you do, but you're not expecting to pick one up right as teams rotate in.
Yeah, you can kind of see Letshe and that qualifier team, and their eyes are being targeted from the high ground as well. They have to be careful how far they push up, how action-packed that fight actually is. Chapix finds elimination onto Malibu. Slick's flying through the sky, getting tagged up just a little bit. Saevid gets it down onto Resin. Everybody popping off here on rotation, trying to force everybody in a bad spot as possible. Even Fireflies from above on towards that wood to try to make their job that much harder. And this is where everybody's getting funneled in that much closer. Zone pulls towards Lazy. Only 3 teams are not feeling the pressure here.
Only 3 teams, that's not a lot, right? I mean, isn't that not been the theme, Jacob, through and through?
It's been far for everybody.
I mean, really, honestly, every single game, it seems as if the leastly contested area is where the half and half is going to be, and that's what I'm saying. It might be new meta just to go ahead and rotate where you see the fewer teams are currently at, because that's normally where half and half is going to be. I cannot believe how many players are going to be having to rotate across not only the water, but across each other. It's normal, they're used to that, but we're about to lose so many players as they rotate into half and half. I guarantee we're at 51 and we might lose 10 or 15.
Yep, you have to be very, very careful. 2 fan favorites here, No Riley and the team of Mongraal. That's where Mongraal's going to get lucky there for that moment. They're going to be able to recycle that jump pad and save theirs for a much later time as everybody's just moving in towards the zone, getting chopped out. Everybody's just trying to cram together and find any spot of safety here. Mongraal looking like he got separated just from his teammates for just a short while as they try to reunite there, get the extra builds right back. They're going to go ahead and get them spot on towards the edge. They're going to hope when that zone pulls, they're forced to rotate, that it's going to be them getting that front end.
Saevid with 4, Mongraal with 2, that's 6. That's a total of 12 points so far. They're not doing too bad in the standings, slowly making their way up, right? I think 12th to 13th place, respectively. Curious where they'll be after this game is over with. And it seems like everybody's kind of established themselves within the zone so far, just outside of Lazy. And think about those buildings and those come into play, especially right the natural creative and try and use one of those buildings inside of Lazy for the rotation. We'll find out very shortly, and there it is. You're going to be going straight through Lazy. And it's funny for Chapix and his team. They land over here. They pretty much have been over here the entire time, and they really have had to go nowhere. It's almost been a perfect game for them.
Yep. There's going to be a lot of covers here that it's going to be much harder to break through rather than if it was one of these players placing the piece down. So they have to be very, very careful where the rotation does come through. Janice, Hen, and Chapix, they're towards the side. Many trios above and below. And here we go. Letshe as well. They're going to get that front side of zone. They're going to get a little bit of this high ground as well. So they're going to have the sky view being able to shoot down on some of these players. There's only one team that is above them. That was the team we saw just moments ago as they're trying to get as many maps as possible. They know how depleting this rotation is going to be. Kylie's going to be the front runner, tunneling in for the team, and that's where they're spreading the love, giving the mats out so he doesn't run out. But the high ground, game number 1 victor, Resin, Vadil, and Noah Riley sitting strong at the top.
Letshe obviously on your screen, top right, playing with Kylie and Co, and this is the moment that everybody's waiting for. I know they're always asking, is Letshe still left? Well, yes, he is, and now he's on your screen, an opportunity to make some big moves happen. As you said, Noah Riley, though, bottom right, and then on the left, we get the over-encompassing view of all the madness that is going down. It is amazing. We've only lost 5 players since the movie zone started, but again, that goes to a testament to how good these players are, and man, taking a lot of damage there from the fall, but either way, business as usual up top from Noah Riley. We'll see what they're going to be able to do. And honestly, this is a rare sight because normally we're seeing him, Janice, and Chapix with that high ground, but unfortunately they don't have it. They're still alive, and an opportunity to have a good game is here, but Hannah's in trouble.
Definitely in trouble. Takes a big tag, gets dropped into the box. Janice and Chapix are going to have to forget about him and keep on going forward. They reunite with each other in the same box. but they only have to take this moment. And they're trying to get their shield and HP back up. Janus doesn't have any extra minis, but that slurp cannon's going to be behind him. He runs out of mats as well. He's trying to stop, pop that med kit to get his HP back up because traversing through all this battlefield without any HP. As you see Mongraal there, sitting in his zone, trying to pop a mini. He's getting attacked right now, taking a ton of storm surge damage. Kylie goes down as well. Traffic takes a big shot from above. He's trying to get the siphon on this player. He does go down to the zone. It's all up to Janus, popping that med kit. He's going to go ahead and sacrifice this damage. So he sacrificed the damage so that all these competitors can go past him, and he has about 100 HP, but is he going to get it? He barely gets it off.
Oh my gosh. No way Janus is doing this right now.
Smart play.
Popping another
5,000 IQ.
Going for the refresh. 5,000 IQ, as you just said. He needs this elimination. This is for a big game, and Janus will fall. And who was that ended up getting the elimination? I think it was Shadow. By the way, he was taken down by Letshe just a little bit earlier. So just to kind of show you how closely contested things are starting to be, and yet it was Shadow confirmed over in the elimination feed. 15 players, now 14, 9 trios remaining. And Mongraal's just on the bottom ground, low ground, just kind of chilling behind a tree.
Oh, man, and I like the idea. He's not chopping down that tree to get mad because it's his only cover towards the low ground. He has just been gifted the RNG there, cleaning up another player's loot, gets the map, but he only has 9 builds he can place. Somebody's trying to get the HP. He gets another siphon. He doesn't stop for the chug cannon, though. Only grabs that extra shotgun. He can't stop. He can't rethink about his decisions. He only can continue going forward. 6 teams remain, and one of those teams is Mongraal. He dropped. He gets taken out. Stomp is still alive. Fast Roki, they're trying to make it happen. Wade, he's getting taken down. He's not Fast Roki, taking a ton of damage to the storm. 6 HP and a dream remain as Resin is doing what he can. Fadil, Noah Riley looking like they're the front runners. 3v1 opportunity here. They have the high ground. They have the low ground. They have them surrounded here. It's only a matter of time before they break through and pick up this final elimination, but he's doing everything he can. He's not going down without a fight, but it doesn't matter. Game number 1 victors do it again here in game number 4.
Oh my, Noah Riley and co. Well done to get that victory. And that comes to show you high ground is king. By the way, shout out to Mongraal hiding behind that one tree, literally not covering any of his body, but he was just back there trying to get the refresh. It's just unfortunate that not Shadow, but someone ends up sneaking up behind him and taking him down. But that's how late game works, right? It's so chaotic. You never know. Whenever you're on that low ground, you never know when somebody's going to come down like a flying squirrel ready to take you down. But what an exciting game. Game 1 victors get yet another victory in game number 4, Jacob. Incredible. Keep the conversation going in chat, ladies and gentlemen, because we still have 2 more games from this point forward, including the leaderboard that we are going to be bringing up when we come back. It's been a beautiful day of Fortnite in action, and it's been beautiful because you guys have been here as well. Hey, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll show the leaderboard plus game number 5.